Okay, let's talk first about the electronics part of the watering system. As you can see, it's a simple one. Does not have a lot of elements. We can go way more complex if we use a multiplexer, more moisture sensors and so on, but for this purpose it is the simple one, for just one plant with one sensor. And so here is the Arduino Nano. I am using a compatible one. It's not an actual Arduino Nano, but it does not make any difference. Connected with a simple LED, simple but addressable LED, so I can change the color when there is warnings, errors, when it's watering. It's just a easy way to indicate what is happening. Pressure sensor that I'm using for measuring water levels. So when the water level is low, the LED will be orange and there is going to be a warning on the screen. But when the water level is down to zero, it will go red and the pump will never start. This is the actual reason I want this sensor. I don't want the pump to be working when there is no water. This is a simple LCD screen. Mine have a nice resolution and I can print some images and text. It is just a good addition. This is a potentiometer which I'm using for user input for the desired moisture level of the plant. A relay that can work both in normally closed and normally open state. I'm using the normal closed state. And a pump. This is all that is happening in my box. It's not much, but it's matching my requirements. So everything, as you see it, is going inside. Actually, I did forgot to put the moisture sensor in here, but it's not problem. This is what is going inside the box. My box is looking like this. It is simple, old school design, as come out as as it is like the movies in the 70s and 80s where everything was rectangular. There was a lot of blinking lights and so on. I like these old sci-fi movies, so this design is something I like. The box itself is contained from 3 different models. In the back is the water container. The water container has a channel for housing water pressure sensor. It's a pressure sensor that's measuring the water level. This is the container that's hold all the electronics. As you did see, there are not much. And this one is for housing the pump. This design is a little bit ugly but functional. The square box is the best way to contain water because this is POA, and POA is hydroscopic. I am using a different container for actually holding the water, and this container is put inside the big one. Once the box is 3D printed, I will show where everything goes. Now I will simply show you the channel inside. This is the channel for the pressure sensor. To be completely honest, there is a mistake here. This part, the circle, should be at least 2 mm higher than the channel itself, because otherwise the sensor does not read properly. Something that I did find out after I was 3D printed all the parts. My mistake. And there is a pressure pad that goes in the water container. As you can see, it does have a pin that is pressing the pressure sensor when there is water inside. And that's everything about the box. So let's 3D print it, and after that I will assemble it and test how it works. So this is the final product, so to speak. Mistakes were made, of course. The biggest one is that I forgot to put a way to access the Arduino Nano, which I found out when there was an issue with my pressure sensor for the water tank, and I needed a way to access and update the code. So there was two possible ways to go with that: rebuild and reprint the entire box again, which I was not willing to do. And the second one to which I chose was to drill and then file down a way to access it. It's an ugly fix, but then again it works. I have printed a little block to cover it, and it works actually fine. It's a little loose fit, and I will probably reprint it with a little bit bigger, so it will fit better. But for now it is okay. The second big mistake was that there is no cable management idea whatsoever. I was so hesitant to do the project that I didn't think about cable management, and it's a cable hell inside, but I'm going to live with it. And the third and maybe the scariest mistake was this. This is a three-pin groove cable that I'm using it to connect with the moisture sensor. But if one of those broke, it's going to be way too hard to fix it, and without it the whole contraption is rendered useless. So this is a single point of failure for this project. I don't like it, and if I do it again, I will most definitely do it in some other way. Everything else is just fine. This is my first 3D print, so I can live with my mistakes with precision. This is a little bit loose. It can be way better, but I don't mind. Again, here is a little line that is not closed well, because this should be a little bit bigger in radius for the water pump. The water pump itself vibrates, so I'm not totally sure if this won't come loose at some point. But if they do, I will simply screw them again, or even I can glue the lid. It will work just fine. This is a cheap pump from eBay. I liked it because it does work at 5 volts. Not 12, not 18, not 24, 5. It's perfect for my purpose. Because I wanted everything to work at the same voltage. This is simple potentiometer. I have divided the values to 6 equal parts, so the user can select 6 levels of moisture for watering plants. This is very nice LCD screen with a resolution of 128 by 32, which is quite decent for such a small screen, and more than enough for my purposes, because I wanted to print some text and an icon just to look nice, so to speak. It works perfectly. I am saying this because I'm not using a professional setup, so probably when filming the testing, it's not going to be as clear as I wish it be, but I will do my best. This is addressable RGB LED. It is single, but it is of the type that can be wired in series if you want to have more than one. For my purpose, again, one is more than enough. This control panel is fixed with M2 screws as everything else in this box. The socket and the switch are standard. There is no much to tell about them. This one should be a little bit higher because it is interfering even now with my access to the controller. There is similar one inside, which is a pressure pad. The pressure pad has a pin on it that is pressing on the pressure sensor when there is water, and depending on the value it returns, I can show on the screen if the water level is low or no water at all. This is almost everything about this little watering system. The only thing left is to connect the water source. So this is my final setup. As you can see, I have connected my watering system to 2 bonsai trees using my 3D printed irrigation. As you can see, this moisture sensor is now measuring moisture level at 4. This is the desired level I want to keep because the top layer of the soil is almost dry for both of my plants, and underneath they are well moist. So the only thing left for me to do is change my setting from 3 to 4, and that way I'm going to maintain this level of moisture for my plants in the future.